Welcome back to another episode of Back Nine Report TV. We're happy once again, to have our good friend Mike Mahan with us. Mike, how are things down in Florida today?
It's just like the rest of the country. It's hot and steamy, but fall will soon be here.
Not so hot up here in Michigan right now. It's actually raining outside. It was cool last night. Had a sweatshirt on. Almost thought about turning the furnace on. It got down in the 50s last night, and it's high in the 60s today. So I do have this. I've been wearing a sweatshirt all day. I just took it off to tape this show actually. So it's a little cool up here. Mike, you can come up here and you won't be so hot.
I'll duly noted. I'll check if there's a flight from here today on Delta. We'll see.
You can come into Grand Rapids, or you come into Grand Rapids, or you can catch a direct flight out of Atlanta right into the Cherry Capital here, Traverse City. And I'll pick you up.
Very good.
Hey, Mike, we got the second week of the FedEx Cup playoffs this week, and they're going to be in Chicago at Olympia Fields. We haven't seen Olympia Fields too much. They were there a few years ago for this tournament. John Rahm won it. It's a par 70, 7,366 yards. It's it's really a great looking course. I love the way it looked when John Rahm won there in 2020. It has hosted four major championships. And it's just you don't get to see it very often because it's a very private, very exclusive club in Chicago. 72 hole record there is 261, held by Patrick Cantley and Bryson DeChambeau. And then so you've got Furyk had a 59 in 2013. So it's 64 is the course record. It's not a course that they're going to tear up. It's kind of smaller greens. It's an older golf course. Takes a lot of precision there. Like I say, John Rahm won here the last time it was here. And he's not been playing quite up to par, but when you get back to a place that you like, you may do well. This place reminds me a lot of Augusta. It's not quite as wide off the tee. It's not as forgiving with the tee ball as Augusta would be, but and also a guy like Patrick Cantley, as well as he's playing right now, and as consistent as he is, I think this is maybe real good place for him. Got any thoughts about Olympia Fields, Mike?
Again, you made a point. We haven't seen it that often, but two of the names you just mentioned, Cantley and Rahm, are in the field, and Cantley played very well last week. I think the players have one eye on Olympia Fields, those who are secure in the top 30, and then another eye next week on East Lake. So I'm looking for a surprise winner this week, someone who is somewhat desperate to break into the top 30 or at least move into the top 10. But that player could easily be Cantley just because he's so consistent, and he's a horse for this course, as they say.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about making it making it out of the top 50 and into the top 30 to make it to East Lake next week. But this week we had Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm did not play that great at Memphis in the first round, but we kind of look for them to rebound maybe this week in Chicago. Two golfers moved inside the top 50 after last weekend. That was Cam Davis and Hideki Matsuyama, who just played fantastic on the final round to move up. Mackenzie Hughes and Nick Hardy got bumped out when those two got moved up. So you've got Harris English is at 49, Patrick Rogers at 50. So Eric Cole is the only rookie to advance. So yeah, it's we've got an elite field here for sure. So I'm going to give you some names here, okay? And we mentioned Scotty Scheffler, who's number one. Rory McIlroy's in the field. John Rahm, Patrick Cantley, Victor Hovland, Xander, Max Homa. Max Homa is a guy that could jump up and play really good on this golf course as well. Brian Harman, we haven't seen much of him in the playoffs so far. Matt Fitzpatrick, we haven't heard much of him, and Wyndham Clark. Of those guys, you got a favorite or two out of that group?
I like we've spoken before. I just find it very difficult to go away from Rory and Scheffler and Rahm. Though I do think you're going to get some fireworks this week from those players who are obviously 31 to 50, because unless they do well this week, they're done, and they desperately need. And of course, there's the people who are 25 to 30 are looking over their shoulder going, I hope no one gets by me, because then they're finished. So your bottom half of the field, I think, will play with a higher level of
Urgency.
a sense of urgency, definitely. The ones who are 20 and below, they'll take a better performance, but they won't be too annoyed if they don't perform that well. Again, there's only 50 players, so no cut. And but again, the sense of urgency between 30 and 50 will be extreme.
If you're in the top 25 this week going into Olympia Field, you're pretty safe, really. Not guaranteed, but you're pretty safe. Last year, 4 golfers, they're very, very seldom do too many guys move up into the top 30 when they're outside of that. Last year, 4 golfers made the move at the BMW Championship to secure spots for the Tour Championship. Scott Stallings, Scott Cageley, and Aaron Wise all moved up. So normally it's maybe 2, maybe 3 that do it. So if you're in the top 25, you're pretty safe that you're going to move on. But there's always that chance. So like you say, if right now, if you're like 25 down to 50, you got to play hard. You got to get it done, or you could be done. Now they've already earned bonuses. They've already made their money for the year, so they've had a good year if they're in the top 50, no question about it. But these guys are competitors. They want to get in that top 30, and they want to make it to East Lake. Plus, there's more money on the line once they get there. So it's important for them. But we never see that much movement. Really, only 2 or 3 guys. Any thoughts, Mike?
Well, I think everybody who's 31 through 50 looks at Lucas Glover. Where was he 3 weeks ago? He was so off the radar screen, people didn't even consider him. So if it can happen to Lucas, it can happen to anyone. And again, if you're top 50, you're playing fairly well this year, and you've got 1 more week to make it a great year. So it's I'm not shocked by anyone. The depth of the tour is so amazing that players, I mean, Wyndham Clark, that was not exactly a name that was a household name prior to the U.S. Open. Now he's a U.S. Open champion. And so if Wyndham Clark can do it, if Lucas Glover can win back-to-back, literally anything can happen this week at Olympia Fields.
Yeah, Mike. So it's going to be available a lot of different ways. It's going to be on network television Thursdays through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. on the Golf Channel. Saturday, it'll be on 1 to 3 on the Golf Channel, and 3 to 6 on CBS. Sunday, 12 to 2 on the Golf Channel, and 2 to 6 p.m. on CBS. It'll also be streaming live on PGA Tour Live on ESPN Plus. So if you've got ESPN Plus, you can watch it that way. Mike, I'm going to be watching the BMW this weekend. Can't wait to see who's in, who's out, and if Rory can hang in there, or Patrick Cantlay can fulfill my promise to win another FedEx Cup.
I will be right there watching you, but from down here, unless my plans change, and I'll let you know. But it'll be an exciting weekend of, football has really not begun. So we only have 2 more weekends of PGA Tour action. And this is when the fireworks really begin. It's sort of their March Madness, but it's in August.
Mike, thanks a lot for joining us on Back Nine Report again. Take her easy down there and stay out of the sun.
Will do, sir.